Welcome to QuickSpeak, your favorite English podcast for, well, all sorts of things. And today we're tackling a topic that I think a lot of us have some experience with: relationship red flags.
That's right. Those little warning signs that sometimes we miss.
Exactly. But don't worry, we're going to give you the tools to spot them and build healthier relationships.
Yeah. Think of this as a kind of masterclass in relationship forensics.
I like that. And a good place to start is love bombing, right?
Yeah, for sure. It can feel pretty amazing at the beginning.
It does. It's like, wow, this is incredible. I found my soulmate.
Right. It's like the fairy tale romance. Everything's perfect.
But that's where the danger is, isn't it?
Exactly. Because genuine love, it takes time.
It does. It has to grow organically.
Right. You have to let each other be yourselves.
And love bombing is like, bam, instant connection.
Exactly. And all that attention, the affection, the gifts, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, like they're trying to speed run the whole relationship thing.
Yeah, and it's often a way to create dependence.
So it's not really about affection. It's about control.
You got it. It's about making you feel like you need them.
Wow, that's pretty manipulative.
It is, and the really scary part is what comes next: devaluation.
De-evaluation. What do you mean?
Okay, so think about it. The love bomber has built you up, right? You're on this pedestal.
Okay, yeah, I see where you're going with this.
And then the switch flips. They become critical, withdrawn, even mean.
And you're left wondering, what just happened?
Exactly. And it's not a normal relationship bump. It's a cycle.
A cycle of pushing and pulling.
You got it.
Yeah.
They push you away, then pull you back in. It creates this constant emotional turmoil.
So how do you know the difference between real affection and love bombing?
That's tough, honestly, but your gut instinct is your best friend.
You mean if it feels off, it probably is?
Yeah, if the pace is too fast, if the declarations of love don't feel earned.
Trust your gut.
Exactly. Pay attention to how they react when you set boundaries, too.
Right, like needing some space.
Yeah, a healthy relationship respects that. A love bomber might make you feel guilty.
That makes sense. They want to keep you all to themselves.
And that brings us to another tricky one: gaslighting.
Ooh, that one's tough. It sneaks up on you.
It does. It makes you doubt your own reality.
Like you're going crazy.
In a way, yes. They deny things happened, twist your words.
It's so disorienting. You start to question everything you thought was true.
That's exactly it. They want you unsure of yourself.
And it can be as simple as, like, denying they said something.
Yeah. Or you bring up a concern. They say you're imagining things.
Or, my personal favorite, you're too sensitive.
Classic. And over time, that eats away at your self-esteem.
You start to believe you're the problem.
And that's the insidious thing about gaslighting.
So it's not just disagreeing. It's about manipulating your perception of reality.
You got it. And it's often paired with other red flags like emotional volatility.
Oh, so let's talk about that. What does emotional volatility look like in a relationship?
Imagine this. You're walking on eggshells, never knowing what will set them off.
Sounds exhausting.
It is. 1 minute, it's all sunshine and roses. The next, it's a storm.
So those extreme mood swings, they're a red flag.
Big time. It keeps you off balance. You're always trying to please them.
So you start blaming yourself.
Exactly. It's like being on a roller coaster you can't get off.
And you just want to get off and have a break.
But they make it so you can't because they need that control over your emotions.
And that's exactly what we're trying to help people avoid.
It can really mess you up, that need for control, and sometimes it even turns into, well, let's call it what it is, emotional abuse.
Yeah, we got to talk about that because it can be so hard to spot.
It really is. It's not always obvious, not like physical abuse.
Right. It's like invisible scars, but they're real.
They are, and they can run deep. And, one of the most common forms is this constant criticism.
Okay, so more than just like disagreeing sometimes. We all do that.
For sure, this is different. It's relentless putting you down, making you feel small.
I see. So like attacking your looks, your intelligence, your decision.
Exactly. Anything to chip away at your self-worth.
And they always have a way of justifying it, don't they?
Oh, totally. I'm just being honest, they'll say, or I'm trying to help you improve.
Ugh, so manipulative.
It is, because then you start to think you're the one overreacting.
You're the problem, not them.
Exactly. And over time, you start to believe it.
It's scary how that works.
It really is. And often it comes with this other tactic, isolation.
Oh, yeah, like they don't like your friends.
Could be that, or your family. They might try to turn you against them or make excuses for you not to see them.
So you're more dependent on them. That's messed up.
Exactly. They want you all to themselves. They get to control everything.
So if you find yourself making excuses for them to your friends and family, Red flag.
Huge red flag. You need those connections, those outside perspectives.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
So we got to talk about emotional withholding, too. That's another big one.
Right, because it's not always yelling, it can be silence.
This silent treatment, that's so frustrating.
It is, and manipulative. They use affection, attention, even sex as a reward or a punishment.
So it's like 1 minute they're all over you, the next, nothing.
You got it, and that hot and cold messes with your head.
Makes you crave their approval, even if deep down you know it's wrong.
Right, it creates this unhealthy dependence. You feel like you have to earn their love.
That's heartbreaking, really.
It is, and all of these things, they're often connected to other red flags too.
Like a big messy web.
That's a good way to put it. And one of those connective flags is, well, jealousy.
Jealousy. But isn't a little jealousy normal?
It can be, yeah. But there's a big difference between normal and toxic jealousy.
Okay, so what makes it toxic?
It comes from a place of insecurity, possessiveness. They need to control you.
So it's not really about caring for the relationship.
Not really, no. It's about power. They might check your phone, your social media.
Or get mad when you see your friends.
Exactly. They want to dictate who you spend time with, what you do.
It's suffocating just thinking about it.
It is. It's like living in a gilded cage. And it usually gets worse over time.
So what starts as maybe like asking for reassurance.
Turns into accusations, constant check-ins, trying to isolate you.
And that's when you know it's gone way too far.
Exactly. You have to spot those early signs.
Because that kind of suspicion, it just breeds more negativity.
Absolutely. It destroys trust, creates insecurity. It's like poison for the relationship.
And it's funny how all these things kind of connect, right?
Yeah.
Like jealousy and control, they often come from this place of like not trusting your partner.
You're right. They're all tangled up together.
They are. So let's talk about trust issues for a bit, because that's a whole other can of worms.
It is, and it's so important because without trust, you don't really have a relationship.
You don't. So how do we even start unpacking that? Trust issues, I mean.
Well, I think first you got to realize trust issues can look different on everyone.
Okay, so like different reasons for not trusting.
Yeah, sometimes it's baggage, past relationships gone wrong.
Makes sense. Been there.
Right. So you carry that hurt, and it makes it hard to open up again.
It's like you build up these walls to protect yourself.
Exactly. And that's understandable, but those walls, they also keep people out.
So how do you break down those walls? Asking for a friend, obviously.
Well, first you got to be kind to yourself, Acknowledge those feelings.
Don't beat yourself up for being cautious.
Exactly. It's okay to be a little scared, especially if you've been hurt before.
But at some point, you got to let people in, right? Otherwise, what's the point?
You got it. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to trust someone new.
It does. But it's worth it to find someone who really gets you.
And someone who shows you they deserve that trust every single day.
Someone who earns it, not just expects it.
Exactly. And that's about being reliable, being honest, being there for them.
It's the little things, right? Like doing what you say you're going to do.
Exactly. It shows you're dependable, that they can rely on you.
So it's about consistency, building that foundation of trust over time.
You got it. Now, what about when it's the other way around? When it's your partner who has the trust issues?
Ooh, that's tough. How do you deal with that?
Patience, my friend. Lots of patience. And understanding.
Because it's not about you.
Exactly. It's their baggage, their past hurts, not a reflection on you.
But it's hard because you're constantly walking on eggshells.
It is. It takes work. Be open, communicate, let them know you're there for them.
But also give them space to figure things out.
Exactly. It's a balance. And sometimes you need a little help,
Like couples counseling.
Yeah. A therapist can be a great guide, help you both communicate better.
Because at the end of the day, trust is the foundation of any relationship.
It really is, whether it's trusting yourself, your partner, or the bond you share.
It's about being honest, being vulnerable, taking that leap of faith.
Beautifully said. And sometimes that journey is messy, but it can be so worth it.
It can. Well, on that note, we're out of time for today, folks.
It flew by.
It did. But don't worry, we'll be back next week with another juicy topic.
Can't wait.
But for now, remember to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of our relationship deep dives.
And let us know in the comments what you thought of this episode.
We love hearing from you. Until next time, stay curious. And remember, relationships can be tricky, but you've got this.